Good afternoon, America. My name is Neal David Sutz. I am the independent vice presidential candidate alongside independent presidential candidate, literally anybody else, for the upcoming November 5th, 2024 elections. I'm making a very short video here because it is extremely important since my name is not known to a lot of people who might hear it. And yet it is all over Google. It is all over both social media and mainstream media for work I've done in the past to say a couple of things. Number one, I will not repeat again. I don't think Mr. Else will either. There's really no need to. That although Mr. Else's campaign might have started out as some kind of gimmick, we are far past that now. This second thing I want to say is that our campaign, especially now that I've come on board, because I happen to know people personally, that worked on former President Trump's administration, on his administration. I happen to know people that work on his campaign right now. It's not an ego thing, it's just a fact. I wanted to get a couple of things really clear. If anybody Googles me and has any questions, I think we're all clearly intelligent enough to know that whether it's social media, mainstream media, whether it is an audio interview, a video interview, or a written article about anybody, whether it's myself, whether it's Mr. Else, whether it's the other candidates, whether it's anybody who's in the public, things can be accurate, things can be inaccurate. Depends. I want to say first and foremost that we are not here to dilute votes. Okay? This isn't some kind of thing where one of the campaigns hired us to pull votes from the other campaign. I wanted to say also that anybody who wishes to contact me, and this is a known fact to people that know me very well, whether they love me or they hate me, anybody that wishes to contact me to ask me any questions about my past work, about my past relationships with people in former President Trump's administration, about the fact that, quite frankly, I know nobody that works on President Biden's administration, his close inside circle at all. I know nobody on Mr. Kennedy's team whatsoever, nor any of the other candidates, but I'm going to talk specifically because there's a lot of information about myself out there as a very, if you will, pro-Trumper. I want to say very clearly, my joining this campaign is not because I'm angry about what happened with President Trump related to, let's just say, my family. It's not because I'm angry at President Biden and then, hence Vice President Harris, who's now the DNC nominee, or Mr. Kennedy. This is about the American people. I want to say a couple of things. Some of you might be aware, some of you might not. Only 10%, as per the Washington Post just after the primaries, only 10% of U.S. voters actually voted in the primaries. Let's say that after the final votes were counted, the margin was balanced out. Maybe it went to 12%, 13%. Mr. Ellis, myself, and a lot of people, not just by surveys of random people, by actual numbers, not just, 1,000 people were surveyed, are disenchanted and dissatisfied. And being disenchanted or dissatisfied with having a limited number of choices doesn't mean we're angry, we're on the attack, we're going to join this counterattack thing. We're here for the American people because win or lose, and everybody's saying, well, there's no possible way they could win mathematically. It's not possible. You're right. Mathematically, it's probably not possible. We don't have $300 million backing us or $400 million or a pack or many packs banging down our doors giving us money. There are people that, in brief, there are people that will say lots of things about why we're doing this. Is this an ego-motivated thing? Were they brought in by one party to dilute votes from the other party? I want to say to you, to America, that I came on board with literally anybody else. And that is his legal name. So let's just stop talking about that's. It's almost silly to keep talking about the fact that the man changed his name. If anybody has any questions about myself, my past work, anything I have ever said, this is talking about my past, and then I'll get to the present. Anything I have ever said out of my mouth, I have either shown on a picture, a certified document, an audio, or a video. And that goes for this campaign. Anybody has any questions about me, and this is not a defensive position, this is about being transparent, because that's what you, the American people, deserve. You deserve candidates who are not going to waste the next 100 days just fighting about who did this wrong and who did that wrong. Everybody's made mistakes in life. And objectively, those mistakes can be interpreted as more serious or less serious depending on who's looking at them. This election is not about the candidates. It's about the United States of America. It's about our national policy and our foreign policy. And let's remember that when former President Trump was a candidate back in the 2016 elections, one of the biggest, most intriguing things was that despite his being an incredibly successful businessman and a financially brilliant mind, he wasn't a politician. So I'm not here to qualify. I'm not here to justify. I'm here to say that I live a transparent life. It's not to say I haven't done things in my life that I wish I hadn't done, but I have no dark skeletons in my closet. There are people, clearly, as the campaign ramps up, that will create more fake news. I've been in the media before, whether it was Fox or CNN or the foreign media or radio, for my work as an author, my work in law, et cetera, my work being a massive advocate for former President Trump. And I'm used to accurate pieces and inaccurate pieces. And as the campaign ramps up, I just want to say I'm here as the vice presidential nominee, running mate, with literally anybody else to answer any questions that anybody has, to clarify the positions, and to encourage all of you. Do not let the November 5th, 24 U.S. presidential elections be one where only 10 or 15 or 20% of the people actually vote because you're so disenchanted. Demand of us, our campaign and the other campaigns, demand us to answer your questions, not to avoid. Demand of everybody to stop fighting and wasting your time and resources, because your time and resources are extremely important, and I don't need to tell you that. And that catchphrases and attack phrases and anything like that, social media things, they're a waste of time. This is a very, very serious campaign. It's a very serious matter. And what's going on today in the United States of America and what's going on around the world, that a lot of these events are centered around what the United States will decide, is deciding, and will decide to do. We as American citizens, the United States of America, but as voters, we have an enormous responsibility to make sure that we hold our leaders accountable, that we hold our candidates accountable. And all I can say is, regardless of what anybody thinks about me, who knows me, who reads about me, wondering who is this Neal David Sutz guy, who looks into who my family is and who my family was, I have absolutely nothing to hide from anybody. I haven't lived a perfect life, but I've never done anything, let's just say, wrong, in the big sense of wrong. And I'm just getting that out in the open. I have spoken the truth. I have said the truth. I will stand by the truth. I will always be transparent. And that's the thing about life, is that, I made a film once called Human Like You. It was about a period I went through in my life that was extremely challenging following 9/11, where a number of people that I knew passed away. They died, clearly, as a lot of people that you knew as well died on that day. We all do the best we can in life. And I happen to be somebody who is blessed in a sense that despite the challenges that I've had, that I've overcome, despite the smear pieces that have been done about me in the media, despite being betrayed by political people in a very serious situation regarding my family over the last 7 years, I hold no rage. I hold no vengeance. I'm not seeking to attack. I believe that at the very least, the campaign for literally anybody else for president, alongside Mr. Else, will serve as an example to the American people that the United States of America, the White House, the U.S. government, it doesn't belong to a bunch of politicians. It belongs to the American people. And we need to actually hold our leaders accountable. There are many sectors in the U.S. government that cannot be fully transparent. That is clear. I don't need to mention who they are, but that's for national security. But when it comes to a candidacy, when it comes to a campaign, all of us should be open to the best of our knowledge. And if we say something, we should be able to back it up. So I want to just basically make this short video, just say thank you enormously for the enormous support that started with supporting Mr. Else when he first put himself out publicly, the increasing support now that I've come on board, and to say that it is time, America, and I'm speaking to the voters, it is time to make your mark. It is time to force the candidates, literally demand of them on social media, stop fighting. You're wasting our time. Talk about what you're going to do. Don't just say things, but when you say something, do it. And if you say something, have something to back it up. And I'm not saying this last part to be repetitive, but to make a point. If I say it, I will back it up. Anybody that knows me knows that's a fact. There are things I believe in that I believe in very, very devoutly, starting with the family. That is my personal belief system. And I believe that unless the family is the most important thing for anybody, especially for any candidate, foreign policy and any other aspects of the running any government, running any administration are quite frankly really not that important. So an odd message for some of you, something that might be buried in the media, something that might be interpreted as, why did this guy make this video? Does he not have a speech in front of him? Why is he just speaking to America? Why does he think he could possibly be the vice president of the United States? This campaign is about the United States of America and the rest of the world. And we all know that. I don't need to say that to you. The United States of America influences not just America, but every country in the world. And the United States of America is not the most powerful nation in the world. That's a fact. We're not the richest country in the world. We're losing political influence everywhere. The fights among people, whether it's communities, in families, fighting against each other left and right, the wars that are happening, what's happening today in the United States of America with the visit of Benjamin Netanyahu, what's happening with the situation with Ukraine and Russia, what's happening in Yemen, what's happening with Algeria. There are so many things. I'm just saying, please, America, educate yourselves. Don't count on lip service from any candidate. Don't count on it from us. Demand of us, demand of them. Educate yourselves and use these next 100 days. Use these next 100 days to make sure that whoever is decided after the Electoral College votes, to be clear, that they're transparent with you and they're open with you. And I give you my solemn word. And anybody that knows me knows I keep my word. If you ask me a question, I will answer it, but I will not just answer it. I will give you the information. And if I don't know it off the top of my head, I will make sure I get it to you very quickly. You deserve it, America. You deserve to know how the country is run, where the United States is spending their money, how budgets are developed, what is the real priority for any administration. This is not an attack on any of the other, our campaign that is not an attack on any of the other candidates. That's not what this is about. It's not a contest. It's a very serious, incredibly serious moment in time. And when I encountered Mr. Else, yes, I was highly intrigued. And yeah, of course, I thought maybe it was a gimmick at first, and then I knew very clearly it wasn't a gimmick. I'm a man with, let's just say, a lot to lose by putting myself out this much publicly, considering my very controversial past. And I will say this, I would not be doing this unless I believed 100% in what this message is about. This is about you. This is about every single one of us, what we're doing. If only 10+% of people voted in the US primaries, to conclude this message, this video, something's wrong in America, people. And it's not against former President Trump, the GOP nominee. It's not against now the current Democratic nominee, Vice President Kamala Harris. It's not against Mr. Kennedy. It has nothing to do with being against anybody. And that's what people are sick of. We need to come together, united. It's not some hippie philosophy idea. It's actually realistic and it's possible if we can put our differences to the side and think about what's really important nationally and regarding our foreign policies. So, as I said, I remain here, I remain transparent, and I am proud to stand by literally anybody else, and to be one of the many, many, many people, the largest percentage of people in the United States of America who are disenchanted. We don't need to fight to win an election. Everybody is pointing out this and that of the other people, and it's already happened with me so many times in my life in the media that I'm so used to it. When we have nothing to hide, it's okay. If somebody does a smear piece about us, it's okay. If we want to fight back by just defending ourselves, not counterattack, by defending, we will. I definitely will. Our campaign will. We'll defend with truth, but we're not going to waste your time and resources with counterattacks. We have 100-ish days to go. We're not here to dilute votes, I repeat. We're not here as a gimmick. We're here because we actually do represent the majority. And that's a statistical fact, and it's been shown in the media on the left and the media on the right. People are disenchanted. So whatever you decide to do over the next 100 days, I encourage you, educate yourselves, demand of the candidates, as I said, to answer your questions, but not with our mouths, to show you the information, to back up what we're saying, to respect you because you deserve to be respected. And that's what the United States is based upon. Let us remember, the United States of America, despite the many theories of who founded it, how it was founded, etc., the first president of the United States of America, George Washington, was in fact an independent candidate. And unless every internet resource that I've found and every historical resource that I found is inaccurate, he was our only independent president in the history of the United States of America. So what I'm saying is anything is possible, and we need to hold tight to our loved ones, to our families, and to be grateful for what we have, and to realize that we actually can truly, each of us, make a difference. And I've learned this in my life. I learned it as an author, thinking I couldn't touch anybody's life, help anybody. I realized I actually could. I learned it working in law, that I could find justice for other people. And I've had experiences in my life with my family that I won't get into now, that are clearly all over the internet, which are devastating. This is not the time to discuss all of that. This is the time to say that we are all strong. We can pull ourselves up by our bootstraps no matter what is happening to us in life. We can find our center, and that's not some hokey new age term, our center, which means to be peaceful, to be calm, to be focused, to realize that we all have certain responsibilities. And as a vice presidential independent candidate, regardless of anybody saying gimmick or anything, we have an enormous responsibility, Mr. Else and myself, to you, the American people. And we will stand by you. We will stand by you. We will get you the information that you want if you ask us for it. We will do interviews if you choose to interview us. We will not lie. We will not hide anything. And we are here to represent, as I said, the majority, not to attack any of the other candidates. So with that, I leave you. The massive chaos that's going on in the United States today, specifically in Washington, D.C. I pray, and just so we're clear on this is the closing statement, because there's a lot of social media talk about when somebody says God or God bless America. I was born in a family that is, on my father's side, my father passed away a few years ago, half Jewish, and on my mother's side, Catholic. She passed away as well. I happen to be a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. I don't go to a church. I believe in showing love to people and showing kindness and doing the very best I can. So on this day, as I was just referring to the massive amounts of chaos and violence happening in the United States, specifically in Washington, D.C., with respect for the enormous group of friends that I have that are Christians, Muslims, and Jews, and atheists, and agnostics, I can say that I pray that Jesus truly protects everybody, and that more innocent people don't get hurt and die, and that there's not more chaos that takes us away from what's the most important thing. And what's the most important thing right now is all of our families And the most important upcoming event that's happening right now in the United States of America is, in fact, the November 5th, 2024 elections. And I pray with all of my heart to Jesus that everybody stays safe today, because what I have seen, what Mr. Else has sent me on videos from the American soil in Washington, D.C. is frightening. It's scary what's happening. And what's happening with the situation in Russia, Ukraine, Yemen, Algeria, Israel, Palestine. There's mass chaos. We need to not let our attention be diluted. We need to focus. We need to take care of ourselves and our loved ones. And we need to really think hard and study hard for the upcoming elections. And as I said, demand of us, Mr. Else and myself and all of the other candidates, not just to speak, but to show you. Because actions, as cliche as it may sound, speak much, much louder than words. Words can be spinned. Actions are actions. I wish you all a wonderful afternoon, a safe afternoon, and a wonderful evening. July 25th, 2024. My name is Neal David Sutz. I am the independent vice presidential candidate alongside literally anybody else, presidential candidate, independent, for the upcoming November 5th, 2024 U.S. elections. We are here for you. Make your mark, America. Thank you, and goodbye.